Hey y'all, before we jump into today's video, I wanted to share a forum with you may be interested in. I received an email from a young woman by the name of Nova. She is a Black woman, and she requested that I promote her forum. Now, it is a server that she has on Discord, and it is supposed to be a safe space for Black women only to connect for support, advice, mental health, fun discussions, amongst other things. So I did have a quick conversation with her just to vet it out a little bit, and I went through the verification process. Everything seemed to be fine. She immediately reached out to me when she saw that I had completed the verification process. I had asked her if she is divested. She said that she is divested. I had asked her if she encourages Black women to stay anonymous. She advised that she does not require Black women to identify themselves, not even through her verification process. So I'll read to you her greeting as to what you can expect should you decide to join this forum. And it says, "Hello, ladies. I've created a safe space for Black women to connect. This is a space where you can find fun discussions, support like-minded Black women, cash game prizes, cash birthday draws, and so much more. This is especially for us Black women who live in more white communities and want to find other Black women to connect with and even make a friend. We're very welcoming and friendly and can't wait to meet you, ages 19 and older." Now, she did mention that the server has just started. So far, they have 3 moderators in total. They're just looking to grow. So if this is something that is of interest to you, I will link this server for you in the description box. And I also would emphasize to remain anonymous, vet everything that you are participating in, and make sure that you stay safe, stay protected, and stay divested. Again, I will link that for you in the description if it's something that is of interest to you. All right, let's get into the video.
Entertainment district. Diligent. Introducing Miss LaLa J. Divas Anthem.
This goes out to all the divas, representing class and style. We all need a reminder of who we are once in a while. I'm here to tell you that you're my example, you're my motivation too. I learned to be the diva I am from watching divas just like you. I'm a diva. You're a diva. Come on, girl, that's our song. Let's go party all night long. 'Cause I'm a diva. I'm a diva. You're a diva. You're a diva. Come on, girl, that's our song. Let's go party all night long.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. I hope y'all are doing good today. Shout out to Lexus Exodus. Last week, she had posted a video and the subject matter was very triggering. Unfortunately, it brought up a lot of memories, and similarly, Lex said that it was very triggering for her and brought up a lot of memories for her as well. It involved a hyena being an adult and wanting to prowl for a non-adult young lady, if you catch my drift. And she had a few examples of how they do that in Blackistan. So I'll go ahead and link that video below because I think that it's very important subject matter, but certainly tread lightly because, again, like I said, it's very triggering subject matter. But nonetheless, at the end of the video, she had mentioned that it would be great if some Black women who follow her leave in the comments of that video their journey of how they escaped Blackistan. And I encourage y'all to certainly go to that video and also leave your comments here and leave your remarks about what it is that you did to escape Blackistan. So that brings me to today's subject matter. I thought that it would also be a good idea to make this a video. And I really hope that more Black women who have divestment channels leave their stories of how they escaped Blackistan. That way we have more information out there for Black women who either are starting their journey out of Blackistan or don't know where to start and sort of need some guidance. So I will go ahead and share my own story. So hopefully it helps somebody navigate through their escape from Blackistan. Now, if y'all been following me for a while, you already know that I had the struggle, right? I had the struggle love. And I had escape out of that. So oddly enough, I had to escape out of Blackistan twice. Now, the first story is a little short and sweet and to the point. The second one involves me allowing a wrench to be thrown in my life and screwing up the first opportunity that I had to escape Blackistan and had to go through a second escape. So that second story is a little bit more complex. So we're going to go ahead and make this into two parts. The first part is going to outline what I did in the first escape from Blackistan, and then I will do a second video for the second escape. So the first thing that I did to escape Blackistan was become a college student and take advantage of affirmative action programs. So when I was a senior in high school, I was sort of trying to navigate what it is that I wanted to do after high school graduation. And I decided that I wanted to go to a 4-year university. So I did send in an application to the local 4-year college in my hometown. And unfortunately, I got denied normal admissions. I had done everything that I was supposed to do. I got average grades. I took the SAT, and the score that I got on my SAT matched the minimum GPA that I was required to have in order to meet the standard for general admissions. But unfortunately, because I got a D one semester in one of my math classes, I got denied general admissions. So in my denial letter, they had advised me that though I did not meet the criteria for general admissions, I may be able to get into the school through an alternate admissions program. And so I was like, cool. What do I got to do to get in? Because I really wanted to go to a 4-year university after graduation. And if there was another way in, I definitely wanted to take care of that so that I can get in. And so they sent me a long list of items that I needed to do. Some of the things included getting a recommendation letter from a couple of teachers and counselors and things like that, amongst other things. And I completed that alternate admissions program so that I could get into school. And I ended up getting accepted through this alternate admissions program. And what I ended up finding out later on is that this is actually an affirmative actions program. Now, let me let y'all in on some real talk. The reason why a lot of Black women are getting their educations are because there are these resources available to Black women. There are resources available to Black people in general, and Black women are the ones that are smart enough to take advantage of these programs and actually graduating and becoming successful business owners and becoming the most educated demographic in the country. Not all Black women have to take advantage of these affirmative action programs. Don't get it twisted. I had a few Black friends that didn't get in through the affirmative actions programs. They got in through normal admissions. But either way, you have normal Black women who go through normal admissions, came from a regular childhood, and they're going in and they're graduating and they're finishing. And you also have the Black women who don't have the best backgrounds, but they're getting in through affirmative actions programs and they're becoming successful. So when you have both of these demographics of Black women coming together, you have the numbers that you have today, that Black women are the most educated demographic in America. And that's just on period. So I got in through this affirmative action program, and it ended up being a blessing in disguise. Now, They didn't call it an affirmative action program, but that's exactly what it is. In California, I believe they call it an education opportunities program. That is an affirmative action program in California in their different college systems, whether it's a 2-year or a 4-year college. That's what they call it, or at least that's what they called it back then. And it's an affirmative action program. It was a blessing in disguise. They helped me with anything from tutoring to finding resources to finding a job, counseling. They also gave me a grant. I believe it was about $3,000 that they gave me for my first year. And then in my second year, they gave me $1,500, and then I was out on my own. They also helped me navigate through campus life. It's like, where do you even start? So they made you take a class that taught you how to study in college, that taught you about the library resources on campus. And so they basically held my hand my first year, and I got all the financial aid. So that's the first thing that I did, is I took advantage of being a college student and affirmative action programs. Now, in addition to taking advantage of the affirmative actions program and thus becoming a college student and being able to experience college student life, with that, I was able to take advantage of financial aid. So financial aid, I will go ahead and provide y'all a link in the description of where you can go to set up an account and put your application in to get your education paid for, or to get loans that you pay back later after you go and get a good job. I filled out my financial aid application, and I basically let them know all the different types of financial aid I was willing to accept. Some of those included grants, some of those included loans, and there's different types of loans. We may be able to do a video on that on another day when we're talking about financial aid. And also work study. Work study is a grant that you get from the federal government where you can go and find a student job that is a work study job. And you can find these either on campus or off campus. You can look in your college resources and they can let you know which ones are off campus. And basically, because your wages are paid by the government, your chances are pretty high of landing a work study job. And the good thing about that is that it gives you work experience. Granted, I did have work experience while I was in high school. I did have a job, so I did have work experience. But the good thing about work study is it sort of transitioned me into the normal retail jobs that you would get when you're in high school, to having an idea of what career job you would want. So that was the good thing about work study. So I ended up getting a work study job where I was working in the library, and the federal government paid my wages by way of this work study grant. And so I got all this financial aid money my first year, and I was able to pay for a dorm where everything was bought and paid for. So rent, utilities, cable, meals, internet, all of that good stuff was paid for in the on-campus packet. It was very expensive, and it took a good chunk of my financial aid. So they paid for my housing, they paid for my tuition, and whatever was left, they gave me in the form of a check, and I can use that money to do whatever I want. I could buy my clothes, I could go buy my books, whatever the case may be. And of course, because all of that was so expensive, I was not getting that much financial aid in return. So I had my work study job, I had my remaining check from financial aid, and then I also went and got a second job off campus. It wasn't a work study job. It was my first telecommunications job. And I also worked that job as well. So I was doing all of these things to make sure that I had a place to live, I can go to school, and I also had, money to do whatever I needed to do. The other thing that was good was my tuition also paid for public transportation. So I didn't have to worry about having a vehicle my first year of college, and pretty much any year I was in college, I always was able to ride the bus for free or the train for free if I didn't have a vehicle, because there were times where I did not have a vehicle. And so that definitely came in handy. So yeah, taking advantage of financial aid was a big one. Having it pay for my dorm and help me kind of adapt to student life and independent life. Having that first support my first year of college was awesome. So I definitely took advantage of that and always took advantage of the financial aid aspect after that. So that was another one. I also want to add that living in the dorms was a good networking opportunity. I met a lot of people from all over the place. It's the perfect place to go to meet like-minded individuals. So that was awesome. I ended up meeting some of my best friends living in the dorms. And also I got to snag some roommates my second year of college. Because let's just be real, after that first year, you got to, figure out if you're going to live in the dorms again or if you're going to go and find an apartment. And of course, during the summertime, you cannot stay in the dorms. That is not a time when school is in session, or if you're in summer school session, it's really, really expensive to stay in the dorms during the summer. So after your first year and into the summer, you have to either go home or you have to go and find a place to live. And so I met my roomies while living in the dorms my first year. And after the second semester, so after the spring semester and summer was about to hit, we came together and that summer found a place to live. And what was good about that is for the second year, now we don't have to pay all that money in fees for housing. We can just pay rent out of our own pocket. And when they pay the tuition with the financial aid money, we're going to get all that money back as opposed to them paying for housing. So for my first year, when I got a reimbursement check from financial aid, I got like about $500 a semester. After they paid for my housing and tuition and all that. And then when I got my roommates and we went and got an apartment together, my financial aid reimbursement money ended up being about $5,000. So it was like a huge difference of reimbursement money because we did not have to pay for on-campus housing anymore. So that was a good thing. So again, taking advantage of financial aid and college life was something that I did to escape Blackistan. Now, the third thing was always being employed, whether it was work study and having a part-time job or finding that first telecommunications job in my first year of college, just to make sure that I'm able to pay my bills and be able to navigate working and going to school. That is a skill set that you kind of have to learn how to do and learn by doing. And making sure that I always had work experience and a paycheck coming in so that I can stay independent. Because to be frank, I had a huge leg up my first year of college by being able to get all that financial aid, by being able to get those affirmative action programs to fall back on. I had a huge leg up my first year. I had a nice head start, and it was just my job to make sure that I continue on that path and continue to make these good moves for the future. Of course, in addition to that, making sure that you're doing well in school. And if you're struggling, making sure that you're taking advantage of the resources that are available to you as a student to make sure that you are there for success. So I made sure to navigate all of that, make sure to learn the system, and made sure that I had a job. So let's get into the job aspect of it all. So while I'm rooming with my roomies and I have a job, I was presented my first opportunity to actually have my first corporate job. A combination of the work study jobs that I was doing and that first telecommunications job that I got ended up landing me an opportunity to have my first corporate job in telecommunications, and it was double pay and I had benefits. So with this type of job, I can't work my schedule around, basically I had to work my school schedule around my job. It was the other way around with the previous jobs that I had, especially the work study job. So I ended up taking one break from school to do that job so that I could do the full-time job and make all this coin and also go to school full-time and get my financial aid coin. And let me tell y'all, going through all the steps that I mentioned in the first two steps to be able to get to a point where I was able to land a full-time job with benefits and the pay was good and I was going to be able to live in a nice apartment on my own if I wanted to. Of course, I had roommates at the time, but if I wanted to branch out on my own and get my own place, this job actually afforded me that opportunity to do it. And so I took a semester to do that job. And then I eventually did go back the next semester and I was doing full-time work and full-time schooling. So that essentially is it. That was my first escape out of Blackistan. Now, unfortunately, I did allow myself to get thrown off course. The hyena that I married threw a wrench in my life and completely threw me off course. And I allowed that to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and end the first part here. In the second part, we're going to go over the second escape from Blackistan, which is way more complicated than this. So I hope that y'all found the information in this video useful. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for listening. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.
Hey, I want to say this and I got to go. I love y'all. Keep supporting comedy. And I want to thank each and every one of you black guys for dating these ugly-ass white chicks and taking them off our hands.